Namaskar, friends. This is Shekhar Mayanil here again with the eighth episode of Yogic-Neurosciences in Hanuman Chalisa. So let me seek the blessings of Lord Ganesha as well as Hanumanji, for which is nothing other than my breath, to start this new episode. Thus far, we have had a pretty good response regarding Pavan Putra. So we have finally agreed upon or have concluded sort of that Hanumanji is nothing but our breath itself, right? And that breath gets uh, manifested in our life in various forms, okay? So especially five pranas, as we have discussed. So which control basically five different plus their subsidiaries also, not all. So essentially the entire body physiology works because of our breath, right? And that is Hanumanji. So today we are going to discuss a little bit on Ram Doot. So once Pavanaputra gets manifested in our body, if we have allowed him to come into our body by conscious breathing, okay, by conscious breathing, and that has become our manifestation of Lord Hanumanji in our system, then obviously when it comes in our system, what is its role? So this is the thing that we will discuss today. So before I go about doing that, there are a couple of questions I have. People have been asking me when they do Chalisa breathing or Chalisa pranayam, the way I have discussed in episode number 3, I think. So they hyperventilate, and that is quite normal because we have never paid attention to the pause between inhalation and exhalation. That is the reason why we get hyperventilation. So in that case, don't worry. What you do is you just breathe in, stay for a few seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, not more. Breathe in as much as you want. Stay there, hold for a few seconds, and then breathe out, and maybe hold few 2 seconds, not more than that. Then you will probably not hyperventilate. So gradually you can increase from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. That's how you will do it. So I warned you earlier also that it's going to take 2 to 3 years to standardize that. That is essentially not that easy. As it sounds very simple, but you can hyperventilate because we have never used to pause, and that is the reason, right? So let me start sharing my screen with you, and will so I'll just uh, become small here. Okay, so this question I have already answered. So let's discuss today's episode, Ram Doot Atulita Baladhama. So your breath in a new role as messenger or the Doot of consciousness, Ram. We have already discussed that. What is Ram? Ram is the pause between the inhalation and exhalation. So, okay, or exhalation and inhalation. So that's what Ram Doot. That is a consciousness. So how Ram Doot, our breath, become the messenger. So that's the thing that we are going to discuss today. Okay. Okay. So what is Ram Doot? Ram is consciousness and Doot is messenger. So Ram Doot is the messenger of that consciousness. Okay. Now the transition from Pavan Putra, which is our breath, to Ram Doot, which is the messenger of Ram, can happen only if Ram becomes manifested as something in our body. Right? If Hanumanji can get manifested as our breath in our body, then Ram has to get manifested in somewhere in the area itself, right? Somewhere in our body. So then only Hanumanji can become Ram Doot. Otherwise, how can, if you have invited Hanumanji and we call it Ram Doot, Atulita Baladhama, how is it that he can become Ram Doot? So that's what, let's find out. Okay. In Sundarkand of Sri Ramcharitmanas, when Hanumanji goes to Lanka and he hides behind the tree and sees Sitaji in a very shocking situation, uh, he drops the ring, and then finally he appears and says, Ram Doot मैं मातु जाने की सत्य शपथ करुणा निधान की यह मुद्रिका मातु मैं आनी. So this is what he said. Ram Doot मैं मातु जाने की. He never said I am Pavan Putra there. He said Ram Doot मैं मातु जाने की. So what he is doing is he's communicating the message from Ram in this form as Ram Doot. So Sita ji, why she would always address Sri Ram as Karuna Nidhan. That's why he said Satya Sapat Karuna Nidhan. He never said Satya Sapat Ram ji ki. He never said that because he wanted to address Ram as Karunanidhan in front of Sitaji, so that Sitaji understand, because Sitaji is the only person who would address Ramchandraji not as Ram or whatever. He would say Karunanidhan, which means abode of compassion. So if he is the abode of compassion, where in our body is the abode of compassion or Karunanidhan, right? That is what we want to know. So what happens is love and compassion meditation. This is scientific study I'm going to tell you, right? Love and compassion meditation have been, people have been asked to do compassion meditation where they are asked to visualize or see some nice, very touching, very sweet movie where somebody is compassionate with animals or with other human beings which have lost their limbs or something of that kind, but you have developed that compassion for that person. And in those compassion studies, what they have found out, they did the functional MRI study. BOLD means blood oxygenation level dependent uh, uh, functional MRI signals, right? That's what it is. So what happens is, in those studies, whichever the brain, whichever area gets activated by a particular thought, feelings, or emotion, that is what they try to map, right? So in this study, what they found out was the right insular cortex in the brain. I'll show you what that is. A substructure in the prefrontal cortex of the area of the brain gets lit up real good. So this is the so if you consider this part at the center, okay. So this part as a central, this portion, this is the right part, right? Which means facing you. This is facing you, right? So this is the right part, and this is the left part, and this is the right part, and this is the left part. So you see on the right prefrontal cortex, the signal is very strong, right? Very strong signal. And this study was done in Wisconsin, in Perman lab and Richard Davison lab. So this is one of the very strong points of the fact that compassion processing is done in the right insular cortex. So what is this right insular cortex? It is, if you consider this as not consider, this is the prefrontal cortex area. So if you lift these two, the area hidden between that is the insular area. This is the insular area, right? So this is very. So if you consider this is as a human brain here, so this is the insular cortex here. But if you make a cross section like this through the center, through the midpoint of the brain like that, you will see this is the red portion is the insular cortex. If you cut it like that, you will find these two region, red region is the insular cortex. So this region is the one which is the region which processes compassion and love in our in our physiology. And this is controlled, this is the region in the brain which controls that, right? So, so if insula is in the prefrontal cortex, is the abode of compassion or the brain area which is responsible for compassion processing, then that is the area where the unmanifest consciousness gets manifested in our brain then, right? So that insula is the in the prefrontal cortex, maybe this area we is already hinted in Ramcharitmanas, where Shivji says, Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana Prem Te Pragat Hoye Mai Jana. What it means that if consciousness, if what he means that is consciousness is present everywhere. Just like in the cow, milk is in her blood all over, right? But it gets manifested in the udder. Same way, consciousness is present everywhere, but it's get manifested in certain specific places by love and compassion. So that's what he means. So if this is the case, if we combine these two studies, the love and compassion and manifestation of consciousness, then Ram as manifested consciousness is right insular cortex. The right insular cortex is nothing but Ram as manifested consciousness, right? Which is the substructure of prefrontal cortex. So how Hanumanji acts like a messenger of Ram, and how this messenger, the messenger, the Doot, Ram Doot, communicates the message from prefrontal cortex to the entire brain area and the entire body and controls the entire body physiology will be discussed in the subsequent episode. So thank you so much. Stay tuned for the next episode. There will be several episodes on this subject, which will require you to not, if you miss out one, it's over. You will not be able to follow the next and the next. So please subscribe so that you can keep getting, our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers by the end of 2023. I hope you will help me out with this. Thank you very much. And please share and like this video as much as you can. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, guys. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye.